hopefully I do not have to make any reports, because according to what you've all said, is the reason why we made you do the report is because I said what I just said, which is hopefully this is the last video for today, which is October 8th, 2024. Today is Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, when I am filming this, and you are all going to also be seeing it today, which is Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. Okay? So, let's get into the topic at hand, and we're going to be talking about being able to tell the time both manually as well as digitally because of an experience that I've had where my digital phone in which I'm filming on 5 years ago was shut off. Apparently, because in order to do voodoo practice, you're not supposed to have a digital phone as a black person, because as a black person, all black people apparently do voodoo. All apparently, from what I've heard, is that all black people do voodoo, and black people are not supposed to have any technology because they're considered to be all criminal, all racist, and all of that. So this is why I'm here telling you why, as a black person, you need to be smart in knowing how to tell time not only manually, you also know how to tell time digitally, and you also know how to tell time by listening to when they tell you the time. And you also need to know the time by following how the sun moves in the sky, because before we had a manual watch, before we had a digital phone, we had to tell the time and the hour by the move of the sun and how the sun rotated in order to tell us when it was the 11 o'clock hour. We never ever back then had any watches or any digital phones, but from what I've heard is that all black people do voodoo practice, and that's why we have all of this technology, is because we all do voodoo practice and all black people rob banks in order to get their money. So that's what happened, and that's what I was told why my phone was paid for to be cut off and shut off. Um, and then all the phone calls started to child services to say that, oh, gee, you're not a responsible parent because you do not have any connection to a cell phone in order to call the school in order to find out if anything is wrong or if anything is happening to your child. So, let's talk about that point of view message with knowing how to tell the time digitally with a phone, manually with a watch, and how to tell the time with the moving of the sun. So, this is going to be part one in many series as how to move with the ratio of the sun in order to tell the time and in order to know facts and figures with the telling of the time, so that they can say what they've said to me to you as a black person. Be smart, know about it, figure it out, understand it, and know how to work against what they told you as to the reason as to why they've done exactly what they did to you. So not only are my teachings based off of truth, my teachings are based off of actions and what has been said in order to cause harm and hurt to those that decided they want to cause you harm and hurt by saying what they've said to you in order to make you fold and think and join what they want you to join for them. If they want you to join something that they said that they've created, why don't you be smart and create your own and tell them that you don't need to join? You have people that you know will join you. Be smart. Do not join them because this is why they took your phone from you. Be smart and create your own. Be smart and know who you are as a person. Be smart and be able to block what they're doing by being and creating and finding people that are exactly like you, people that do the exact same thing that you do, in order to make sure that you can keep what you can keep because you have paid the money for it. Be smart and create your own because those who are telling you that they want you to join, they're now going to want to have what you have, and they're going to come and apologize to you now, 5 years later. And this is why we did it to you, because you're about to do this video on watches and telling people why they need to know how to read watches. Because my own son won't listen to me. He'll only listen to someone else in whom they've caused harm to, because of the fact that they don't have any respect for someone of a person of color, which is why they well paid to have my phone shut off 5 years ago. Let's get into the topic. Let's get into part one of many. Knowing how, number one, because I never always had a phone as a child, but I've always had a digital clock, as in a clock on a wall that went tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. I've always had one of those, and I always knew how to read it because my aunt Janice taught me how to read clocks in Jamaica as a child. Okay, and I'm very grateful to my aunt Janice. My aunt Janice taught me how to read from the Quran, number one. My aunt Janice taught me how to read the clock on the wall. And by the time I knew how to read a manual clock on a wall in Jamaica, I was 2 years old. I was 2 years old by the time I knew how to read a manual clock. 2 years old. And I've been reading a manual clock for the last 46 years because of my Aunt Janice. So, thank you very much, Aunt Janice, for literally pushing this to be able to know how to read a manual clock in order to be able to get to the digital clock. Much respect to Aunt Janice. Let's get into it. Watches. People use digital phones in this century to tell the time. So why would someone want to purchase that watch you've been asked to promote? Because it looks good. It looks good. That's the only thing about the watch that someone would want to purchase it for, is because it looks good. But they don't know the symbolism behind wearing the watch that makes it look good on your skin tone, because it was made to match you. Because you're the black person that does voodoo and doesn't know how to read a manual watch to tell the time. First of all, let me say this. I always set my manual watch at least 5 minutes ahead than what my digital phone says, because my manual watch always gets me to where I need to go on time. And I can tell you that every time I've worn my manual watch, the transportation system has always followed the time set to that of my manual watch and not that set of the digital watch. Think about it. Number two, it elevates the outfit by adding style, and that starts a conversation, a style and color. It's a statement piece, and it also starts a conversation. By the time the watch conversation is over, that person has already probably more than likely bought the watch, but they're not going to want to let you know that they bought the watch, because they're going to want to tell you, what did I buy that you taught me about in order to make me buy it? and make me want to have it. My question is, why are you not wearing it if you bought it? Wear it. Use it. Don't waste your money. Wear it, use it, and let someone ask you, how did you do that? Because I want that now. How did you do that? Because I want that watch that you have. Anyways, by the time the watch conversation is over, the person has bought everything that brought the attention to the watch. They bought the pants, they bought the shoes, they bought the shirt, they bought the jacket, they bought the hats. But the conversation piece got them to buy the full outfit. Therefore, putting a little bit of money back in your pocket because what you are the one who wore started a conversation with got them buying and saying, put the money in her pocket, put the money in her pocket. She wore it, I want it, give it to me. But I want everything that matches with the watch first because she obviously made it work. However, they saw the watch and eventually they will remember the watch, just as I just said. They'll remember the watch that you wore because they saw, number one, an advertisement for the same watch on television that reminds them that they've already seen someone with the watch. And what it's going to gear them to do, because our phones is set in the digital area to search for something that's comparable to our skin and our body that matches the look of what we want it, which is the watch, because the watch in the area where you purchase it will never ever be the same. It will never ever be the same. Because if you didn't know, shopping in an area that is not your own is also a form of illegal robbery that was brought in by the apartheid that was created by a white person, not Nelson Mandela, as most people like to think. Not Nelson Mandela. A Caucasian person created the apartheid in order to see what black people was buying because, well, black people do voodoo. Black people ain't supposed to have any money because they're supposed to be wasting all their money on seasonings doing their voodoo with their cooking. So we're creating the apartheid in order to make sure that black people don't shop in our area. So we know exactly what the black person is buying. You understand me? So a watch blocks someone from telling you what you can and can't have because they brought in the apartheid and now they can't have a watch in that area because the apartheid says you can have because of the fact that you're watching that person. I'm being watched. I'm being followed. I'm being robbed. I'm being plagiarized. I'm being taken advantage of. I block you from doing that by knowing how to read a manual watch as well as a digital watch. So, the other point, because of popularity and fast turnarounds as well as everyone else has it, they now have to have something like that too. So, you see, not everyone that you see that has a watch knows how to read that watch, which allows someone who has the skin color I do that knows how to read the watch and I can look at it and tell you that the time says 10:32 a.m. right now. My time says 10:32 a.m. right now because I can read it because of my aunt Janice who taught me how to read the clock. Um, I can have this because I'm being watched by someone who's telling me that you can't have this until you prove that you don't do voodoo practice. I don't do voodoo practice. I'm not a Mormon Christian. I am an apartheid Christian. It's a very hard word to enunciate, but I am an apartheid Christian, not a Mormon Christian that does voodoo. Okay? I am not a Mormon Christian that does voodoo, that uses the word Christian to say Mormon who practices and lives in sin. I'm an apartheid Christian. Apartheid is a very, very hard word to enunciate, but I'm an apartheid Christian. Apartheid. 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 Can I get that word correct? Apartheid Christian. Apartheid Christian. One who lives the truth, one who speaks the truth, and one who believes the truth, and one who sees the truth for exactly what the truth is, and they do not try to function by changing the truth in order to make it their own for themselves. That is the type of Christian that I am, an appetited Christian. Appetited Christian. Never mind, I'm never going to get that word correct, but that's my description of a Christian. I am not a Mormon Christian. No, thank you. I am an appetited Christian. Excuse me. Now, you've gotten someone that's never needed a watch to buy a watch because of an advertisement because you're wearing the watch. That's the first portion of advertisement. Wear the watch because you're advertising it for the company. So I'm advertising for Nike right now because this is a Nike band specs. This is a Nike band specs. So I'm advertising for Nike, which says to me that Nike is an appetited company that sells to Christians only because of the band that they provide to their watches. An appetited Christian. So why is a whole lot of Mormons fighting over wearing a Nike clothing? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why a lot of Mormon so-called Christians are fighting over an appetited watch or I don't know. I don't know. But you do you, boo boo, because it's making you also stronger every day. Because I see it making you stronger every day. Oh, I see. I see. I see. I see it every now and then. So, you have advertised the watch, and now others are promoting the same product that you did. You've earned yourself because you're now wearing the watch a $1.5 billion from literally one mention. And how did you do that? Okay, so you're Mormon, right? You want to have this watch, right? So you'll get the backing to a watch that's made for an apartheid Christian and give it to a Mormon Christian, but they have to buy it in their area with that backing. But the money still goes in your pocket because you're the one who first sold the watch to a Mormon idiot that's watching you, telling you that you need to be a Mormon in order to get the watch that you already have on your hand, which is why they shut off your phone in 2020. Yeah, that makes oh so much sensibility sense. Yeah, it does. So, you've made $1.5 million from one video that you're about to post right now, and you've had one purchase, and you pretty much put money in the bank. On to the next one, on to the next one. Somebody bring me back some money, cause I'm broke as a mother sucker.